Black man found dead against tree with rope around his neck in North Carolina. Not a lynching, sheriff says. I believe him. Javion McGee, I assume it's not Javion, Javion McGee, a 21-year-old truck driver from the Chicago area, was found dead in a rural area off Vanco Mill Road on Wednesday. Investigators said he was not far from his truck, leaning with his back up against a tree and rope around his neck. McGee was in Henderson making a delivery into the Walmart distribution center. Come on, guys. You've never just been mid-driving route? As a 21-year-old guy, you're a trucker, just mid-route, and then you pull over on the side of the road, and then you throw a rope around a tree branch and hang yourself. You never, come on, folks. This was like a once a month kind of deal when I was 21. Hold on, Vaush, I read the story. Whoa, hold on, somebody's cheating. Reading? All right. The sheriff is himself a black man, irrelevant, and the department says they have the trucker on camera buying rope. Interesting. Odds are this is actually a suicide. Okay, hold on. So the department, the police department? Okay, well, hold your horses here, okay? Hold your diggity darn horses. Braham told ABC 11, we just believe in police now. We haven't finished the damn article. I listen, okay? Call me a react dandy. Go on, do it. Do it if you dare, all right? I read paragraph 1, paragraph 2. I'm incredulous. Give me a chance. Give me a chance to have my mind changed by paragraph 8 or whatever, okay? You know, any article that opens with this title, come on. Braham told ABC 11 there were no signs of foul play in McGee's death. He said McGee went to a nearby Walmart shortly after he died. Wait, shortly after he died. Shortly before he died. That is where he is believed to have bought the rope found around his neck. When ABC 11 asked more about that, Braham declined to elaborate. Excuse me? I'm sorry, who was the person in chat who characterized this as the police department found that he stopped for the rope? Because this sounds a little bit different now. Like, I'll believe a trucker stopped at a Walmart. This is where he is believed to have bought the rope? All right, okay. Understand there's over 1,000 hits on TikTok accusing the sheriff's office of not being transparent, not providing info to the family, but that is not true, Braham said. There has been information put out there that there's a lynching in Vance County. There was not a lynching in Vance County. The young man was not dangling from a tree. He was not swinging from a tree. The rope was wrapped around his neck. It was not a noose. There was not a knot in the rope, so therefore it was not a lynching here in Vance County. Wait, am I reading like a joke article? This is ABC 11. Is this like ABC11.net and the .net is the joke version of ABC 11? Okay, hold on.
So, Sheriff, first of all, can you just, walk me through what we know, the timetable of when he was found and what we know so far?
Good morning. Yes, this is Sheriff Curtis.
Stealth Gordon, if you repeat that has-been hotel-ass line in my chat one more time, it's on site, okay? This is your one warning.
Frame here in Vance County. On Wednesday, September 11th, approximately 10:08 a.m., Vance County Sheriff Office received a call out to a rural part of the community, Vanco.
Listen, this is a LGBTQIA plus safe space, but not that much of an LGBTQIA plus safe space. All right, understand the limit.
Vanco Mill Road, where a deceased young man was sitting up against a tree, with his back up against a tree. He had a rope around his neck, and he had the top of the rope was up in the tree limb.
But it wasn't a knot?
There was not a noose. There was not a knot in the rope. We have information that we got that this young man had visited a local Walmart store here in Henderson, where he purchased an item that was possibly used around his neck. It's an open investigation at this time. We're following all the resources and avenue. We're utilizing. We found out he was a truck driver after we identified who he was.
Yeah, if there's no knot in the rope, wouldn't that just be more evidence to the idea that he was choked to death? How do you hang yourself from a knot with no... Like, I'm not a hanging myself expert. I'll admit I've never tried, but if there's no knot in the rope, wouldn't that have to mean you were strangled? How else could you do that? Several loops around a branch, but he said, like, I feel I I don't know.
First, we had no identity on it because he had no ID on him. And once we identified who he was, we found that the tractor trailer.
He had no ID on him. A truck driver, a professional driver, didn't have ID on him? You mean like it might have been taken? Why would he's a professional driver. He's not, his job is truck driving. Why wouldn't he have his wallet? He spends multiple days out from his house. He's got his license on him. He didn't even have a license on him?
Trailer he was driving was in an adjacent lot to.
Yeah, his CDLs too. Like trucker, they have more licensing on them, right? Than I do when I drive, and I've got my license on me when I drive because I'm not an idiot. I mean, I am an idiot, but I'm not that kind of idiot.
From where his body was located. So we contacted his family in Aurora, Illinois. We had the Aurora Police Department go out and contact his family. And once that notification was made, we personally talked to my...
Again, I don't want to pretend that I'm an expert on any of the subject here. I just, if I was like making a story in like a book or a game or something, and I wanted to make it clear that the sheriff was lying to cover up a lynching from some good old boys, and he wanted to cover the rat. This is how I would write it to make the reader suspicious.
Investigators talked to the family and informed them of the information that and the ongoing investigation, or the death investigation of their son, their 21-year-old son, Mr. Magby.
And so at this point, I mean, you've seen some of these videos from family members that have out there sort of, questioning whether there could be foul play involved. What's your response to that?
I understand the loss. I feel gratitude, condolences, not gratitude, but condolences go out to the family. I never lost a child, to the mother and to their loved ones. I never walked in their shoes, but I asked them to slow down, to pump their brakes, to slow that train down that has left the station, about the Vance County Sheriff's Office, and definitely want to clear that the Henderson Police Department has nothing to do with this investigation whatsoever. This incident is clearly out in the county under the jurisdiction of the sheriff, which is myself and my deputies and investigators.
Yeah, okay. Okay. So yeah, it's the jurisdiction of the sheriff's department. That makes sense. It's not right. It wouldn't be the police department. It'd be the sheriff's department because it's not in the city limits. It's in the county. That makes sense. What does that have to do with whether or not there's foul play?
We invited the North Carolina Highway, the North Carolina SBI to assist us in the investigation regarding perceptions and get clarity and to be transparent that the Vance County Sheriff's Department is not withholding anything and sharing information regarding to the decedent to the family.
Is there an autopsy yet?
An autopsy is being performed today, yes.
Okay. And also, with regard to, the rope maybe possibly being bought at Walmart, would you be able to release that surveillance video?
Once we compile the information that we have, step by step, talking to the district attorney, the local district attorney, and the SBI. We don't want to release too much information too soon because this is an ongoing investigation. And we just ask everybody to be patient and so we can do a thorough investigation to get the proper information out there and ask people to stay off social media and slow down and report the facts. I understand there's over 1,000 hits on TikTok. The sheriff's office not being transparent, not providing information to the family, and that is not true. There's been information put out there that there's a lynching in Vance County. There is not a lynching in Vance County. The young man was not dangling from a tree. He was not swinging from a tree. The rope was wrapped around his neck. It was not a noose. It was not a knot in the rope. So therefore, it was not a lynching here in Vance County.
Well,
I'm at a loss with this one, guys. I don't want to drag this channel down to the depths of, okay, I'll admit I am predisposed against anything a police officer says in basically any circumstance. Under these circumstances, it's like an Occam's razor thing. Is the most likely explanation that he's covering up a lynching? No. But man, is he trying his best to make it seem more likely through his behavior. That would not be my default Occam's razor answer, but he is like massaging the data to get it over to that. He is refining the razor's edge to point it towards that. Holy, oh my God, that's crazy. Okay, this different article, someone in chat said in this different article, they say that the guy did have an ID on him. Detective Labra found a man with a distinctive forearm tattoo wearing a white short-sleeved shirt and black shorts, drippy, sitting at the base of a tree with a blue rope wrapped around his neck, the warrant states. The detective's first name wasn't included in the warrant. The detective's first name wasn't included in the warrant. The man's legs were resting on the ground facing away from the tree. He was wearing dark Crocs, plastic clog-like shoes that slip on. I know what a croc is, thank you. The descendant displayed no visible signs of assault or any outside trauma to the body, the warrant states. At the man's feet, investigators found ripped paper wrapped, which displays the brand of the blue rope, and Walmart.com, the warrant states. Unopened color sheet wraps, which are used for smoking, were also found. Since Labra hadn't found any ID... Okay, there was no ID there then. He went to Walmart in Henderson, the warrant states. He linked the information on the wrapping to McGee using the self-checkout to pay $4.20 for the rope at 6:20 p.m. on September 10th, the warrant states. Walmart surveillance video showed McGee wearing the same clothing that he had on when he was found by the tree, leaving the Walmart alone and entering the driver's side door of a large white semi-trailer. Surveillance video shows a man wearing the same clothing. Okay, it should be noted, all of this is on the say-so of the sheriff's department, right? Because they haven't released any of this video footage. So when Virginia Bridges of the News and Observer says surveillance footage shows, what she should actually be saying if she wasn't a hack is the police claim that the surveillance video shows. And the fact that she's not saying that makes me not trust what she's saying, because it sounds like she's just regurgitating what the cops are saying without any like journalistic skepticism. Even if what she's saying is an accurate transcription of what the cops have said, the fact that she's repeating it as fact is insane to me, which makes this article worthless to me.
On the other side of things, do you believe at this point, or can we confidently it was a suicide?
I cannot, without the report, the cause of death from the medical examiner. We're going down every avenue, every aspect, all the information, videos. We got in contact with the trucking company to get his GPS reading of all his whereabouts while he was here in Vance County in the Henderson area. So right now, we don't know exactly the cause of death of this young man. So no, I cannot say it was suicide at this time.
Okay, and also on the other side, we can't say foul. How is it being treated? Just as a death investigation?
It's been treated as a death investigation.
It's like, does the cameraman like not buy any of this, and he's zooming in on the sheriff's badge to be like, yeah, it's this guy?
Until we rule it out.
Okay. Are there any signs of any foul play?
No, sir, not at this time. No signs of foul play or implication of anyone else involved at this time.
I'm just curious what the autopsy reveals, because death by asphyxiation leaves like pretty obvious marks. If you're strangled to death, you usually have bruising or trauma all around the neck. If you've been hanged, that means your neck breaks. Pretty easy to see that on examination, right? Like, usually people don't die with no external signs. I don't know. Not necessarily. Sometimes it doesn't break. Well, there's usually, like, if you're choked out, like asphyxiated, but with no bruising, you're just like leaning. The neck breaks if they drop from a high gallows. If it strangulates you enough that you can't breathe and you die, even if your neck doesn't break, does it not leave marks here? I'm almost positive I've read that from a source that I would consider borderline trustworthy, where like you either get like something so quick that it's a clean break, which would be like a full hanging drop of the, like a 4-foot drop or whatever, or you get like the bruising. Again, I'm not an expert. I'm just saying I'm curious about. It's illegal in America today for a white man to have an opinion on. I was about to say on. It's not on lynching, just on like true crime stuff. Okay, I don't know. I'm not an expert. I'm not a coroner.
And what's your message to the family? I mean, obviously, regardless of what this was, I mean, they're thousands of miles away in Chicago. You get news that, your son is found, near a tree in the middle of North Carolina.
Be patient. Call us 24/7. Vance County Sheriff Office, 252-738-2200. I'm Sheriff Curtis Rain. Call me or one of my investigators, and any time of day or night, we will come and we will meet you here at the Sheriff Office. I'm sorry that the family wasn't awarded that opportunity to view their son or their loved ones in a natural not a natural circumstance, but in a normal circumstance where someone is deceased and taken to a local hospital. The family are awarded that opportunity to go to the hospital, to the emergency.
What would an autopsy show that meaningfully changes the outcome in this case? Well, if there's any drugs in this, so it could be like a drug thing, maybe, like, oh, it was fentanyl. Okay, sure, whatever. Like, you know, throw that out there. But like, depending on what kind of, I mean, you want to know what killed the guy, right? And whether or not it was a wound you could self-inflict. Strangling versus hanging. Yeah, like the marks that a hand leaves are different from the marks of a rope or of... I mean, I don't... Listen, everything that I know about what being hanged does to a body, I got from exploring all the dialogue options in Disco Elysium. And I don't think... And other stuff happened to that guy. No spoilers, but...
room or either some other form of fashion so they can view the body and identify the person. This young man was not disfigured in any form or fashion. The picture ID that we took, the picture that we'd taken of him was possibly you could identify as being your child or identify someone who knew that could identify that picture.
So where is he now then?
His body is at the medical examiner's office being autopsied.
For the autopsy?
Yes, sir.
And do we know when the results of that are going to come in?
Hopefully today we get a preliminary and give us a better understanding of what happened.
And you'll release that right away?
I will share that information with the family first, and then make a decision from the district attorney about sharing it with the press and with the public.
Is there anything else that you mentioned that you've seen out there on social media that you wanted to address or clear the air about?
I do. I just want people to stay out of their rumor mills, stick to the facts, allow us to do our job and be patient, and stop saying that the sheriff is not being transparent or that the sheriff is not doing what he's supposed to do. I'm very clear in my duties and my responsibilities and my obligations to the citizens of Vance County and the state of North Carolina.
And do you know who found him or what the circumstances of the call coming in were?
I have not released that information this time, sir.
Okay.
The call came in through 911.
Don't let them
so
write in the
therefore
newspapers that I did it. True.
We'll be able to trace that back, sir.
So we can't say who came upon him?
Not at this time. Just part of the ongoing investigation.
Gotcha. Do we know, the last people who were in contact with him or kind of anything leading up to this?
No, sir, we do not. Other than apparently being at Walmart distribution.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Walmart store.
Okay. And his truck, how far was he from where his truck was parked?
Oh, I said 30 yards, 30, 40 yards from where his truck was in a fenced-in area, and he was on the outside of the fenced-in area where a tree was at.
And you said he was just sitting up against the tree?
With his back up against the tree.
Okay.
How does that work?
Just around his neck?
Yes, sir.
Was it tight?
I did not
I thought it wasn't a noose.
pay attention personally. I cannot comment on that.
Okay. Any other, anything else on his body? Bruises, anything like that?
No, sir.
Okay.
No.
Anything else you wanted to add or that I forgot to
You
ask?
can
No, sir, I
tell
think you
that this
covered it all.
reporter doesn't buy any of this shit. These are some very pointed questions to ask a sheriff.
They have
Whoa!
every different
Stop!
season.
Don't
They
make
have-
noise. Jesus. Honestly. Signs of hemorrhaging. Oh, there is something. The autopsy showed preliminary autopsy results. No concrete determination of the cause of McGee's death. No obvious signs of defensive wounds or scars in his limbs, including arms or legs. The autopsy there showed there was hemorrhaging around the soft part of McGee's neck. Waiting on the toxicology report. Okay. Look, I mean, I don't know. Obviously, I don't know. It could be a lot of stuff. It's just, that is wild. Jesus. Wild shit. To be clear, something doesn't add up in either direction. I have no idea why you would kill yourself in that way. Like, mid-trucking job, stop at Walmart, then drive for a while, then stop and put the rope around the tree, and then lean into it. Like, if he's just sitting against it, he just leans into it. Like, he puts the rope around his neck and he's sitting there, and then he's like I mean, is it possible? I don't know. I've never tried it. But at the same time, is the lynching story some good old boys out in the county saw a truck coming and they were like, I bet that truck has a black guy in it. So they stand in front of the truck to stop it. And then they're like, at gunpoint, they're like, all right, now go over by that tree. We're going to do a really pissy looking lynching. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe one to kill himself, but also troll the KKK. Oh, like, you know, it's like a crisis actor situation. I see. I think it was like this. This is a very, did you draw this yourself? This is like very grim. This looks like the kind of thing that you would see in like a survival horror game when you're walking around the asylum following the traces of a like super powered 6-year-old girl, and you see the drawings that she was doing while in the test chamber, while the government scientists were trying to explore her. I mean, this is like a fear drawing. You know what I mean? I appreciate you giving our man the like Chad profile. The kissy face. Well, it's the Chad face. You have to have kissable lips to be Giga Chad. That's possible, I guess. I mean, I feel like this is maybe more likely than any other possibility if it was a lynching. Right? Because they said they found hemorrhaging around the neck, so I don't know. Yeah, and they said there was no knot in the rope. I don't know. He'd have to be unconscious first, or he'd have hands from trying to get out of it. Yeah, that's true. But we are kind of relying on just the information from the cops, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. It genuinely, I'm not even sold on it being a lynching. It just seems like a wild story. But we're also just kind of only getting info from the cops, which is the main problem. You can have like the undecided, but then if there's another one, if there's another like reveal or some journalist gets info and it turns out the cops left out a little detail or there was one little thing they got wrong, like remember how the initial autopsy of George Floyd said that he died by fentanyl, which was clearly not correct. The fentanyl, like he was like the implication that he was destined to die at that exact point in time, whether or not he was being strangulated with a cop sitting on the back of his neck for 9 minutes beforehand. You know? Like, yeah. Maybe that sheriff really hates the good old boys, but can't go against them directly. So he's trying to bring as much suspicion onto this case as possible by being really shitty and answering questions from ABC 11. It's possible to hang yourself while sitting down. Yeah, but like no knots and around a tree while sitting on your butt. I'm not. I don't want to do the like. Okay, well, at a 43-degree angle, you can maximize the tension on the center of the neck by like. We need a 3D model of the tree to really work out like it turns out the tree is like a crook in it at this point. So like, yeah, 6 feet up, there's like this, like a little divot where you could have notched a rope. Yeah, I'm not, I don't know. Not get too much into the particulars. We'll make ourselves look like dang buffoons. Visual calculus, doing like basic trig in my head, lining it up.